Shabbat Shalom, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Noah Kitty, and together with Hazzan Jerry Berkowitz and Cantorial Soloist Harley, Greene, I welcome and thank you for joining us on this beautiful Shabbat evening. Your presence makes our delight in the holiday all the sweeter. Before we begin this week's service, I invite you to take a few minutes, kind of a pre-Kabbalat Shabbat, pre-service as it were, to set an intention. What do you want this Shabbat to look like? There's a midrash that says there's a Shabbat angel who has a list of all the Jews in town. And when he visits that family, if they have candles lit and the table is set and there's challah on there and the family is enjoying the company of each other and delighting in the rest of Shabbat, the angel says, "May it be so next Shabbat." But it's also true that if the Shabbat angel checks his list and visits a Jewish home and there's no candles lit and the table is not set and the family is not sitting around with each other, then the angel says, "May it be like this Shabbat next week." And so this is my warm invitation to you to set an intention that just for this Shabbat, you are going to be at peace. Just peace. Whatever is going on for Shabbat, it's suspended. In fact, when we think about the rest of Shabbat, it is truly a extra dimensional, as it were, kind of rest, because it's the kind of rest that we are to understand that not only are we to cease from our duties, to suspend our obligations, but to actually understand the rest as though all our obligations have been executed. We have finished all our responsibilities. There is simply and literally nothing more to be done. There is no more work to be done. And that's the kind of rest that I invite you to consider for Shabbat, when there's just nothing more to be done. Whatever the problem, whatever the issue, whatever the joy, whatever the sorrow, try to let it go for Shabbat. There's just nothing more to be done. And in this way, may you enter Shabbat with a full and complete heart, a heart that's healed of all tension, that's relaxed and relieved of all distress. May the next 24 hours be for you a Shabbat of peace. We begin our service with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Rabbi. All right, everyone, it's time to light our Shabbat candles. So get your matches ready and let's sing the bracha together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner להדליק נר של Shabbat.
We continue our service with the Kiddush for Friday evening. Thank you, Harley.
Thank you, Rabbi Noah. It's time for Kiddush, everyone. This is my Beret Pri Hagofen Kiddush cup. And away we go. Vayhi erev vayhi boker yom hashishi, vaychulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzvaom, vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi, malakto asher asav, vayishpot bayom hashvi mikol, malakto asher asav, vayavorech Elohim et yom hashvi, Vayakadesh oto, kivo Shabbat mikol malakto, asher bara Elohim la'asod. Savrei. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadesho, b'ava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh breshit. Ki hu yom tehillah, l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
We begin our custom of singing our way into Shabbat with a series of psalms and songs we're all familiar with, we know all by heart. Please sing along with Jerry as we begin Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ruachem v'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Vihi Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Vihi Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue together with L'chu Neranenah, a joyful psalm.
L'chu Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, ladunai. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, ladunai. Naria, letsui shenu, kadma fana betuna. Naria, letsui shenu, besmira naria no. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, ladunai. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, ladunai.
We continue with Jerry leading us in Mizmor LeDavid. I first learned this song actually in the Saturday morning service, the conclusion of the Torah service, where we would bring out the Torah, and however long the song was, that's how long we had to walk the Torah scroll around the community members. So may you imagine being surrounded again and again, encircled by the Torah, as we sing together Mizmor LeDavid. Thank you, Jerry.
Mizmor LeDavid, Avul Adonai b'nei Elim, Avul Adonai kavod laos, Avul Adonai kivod shemo, Ishtachavul Adonai be'adrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai amayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'kuach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Levanem alon v'sirion, kemo ben reimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kodesh, Kol Adonai yechol el hayanot, Vayechesof ye'arot, Uvehechalo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai yos ve'amo yitei, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
We continue together with Lecha Dodi, Come My Beloved. Imagine being welcomed, being sought out even, with open, warm, loving arms of Shabbat. Lecha Dodi. Thank you, Harley.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shomor v'zochor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem utiferet v'lithilah, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuva nelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, סוך מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך הפכה, רב לך שבס ועמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קרובו אל נפשי גאלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום, הטרף בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue together with a Chetzi Kaddish, signaling the conclusion of the Kabbalat Shabbat portion of our service.
יתקדל ויקדש שמי רבה, וילמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכונו ביומכונו וחייתך בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם וליומי המיה. ויתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבעתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו amen.
We continue together with the Baruch Hu, the formal beginning of our evening service, an invitation for us to really wake ourselves up, be very conscious, aware, and focused before whom we stand. We continue with the Baruch Hu. Thank you, Jerry.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam, Le'olam Amen.
We continue together with Ahavat Olam, a beautiful song of the loving and connected relationship between God and all of the Jewish people. Thank you, Harley.
Avad Olam, Beit Yisroel, Amacha, Avito, Ahavad Olam, Beit Yisroel, Amacha, Avito, Ahavad Olam, Beit Yisroel, Amacha, Avito. Torah, mitzvot, chukim, mishpatim, otonu, limadeta. Torah, mitzvot, chukim, mishpatim, otonu, limadeta. Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachvenu, uvekumenu, nasiach bechukecha, b'shachvenu, uvekumenu, nasiach bechukecha. V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam vo'ed le'olam, le'olam vo'ed le'olam, le'olam vo'ed vo'ed, le'olam vo'ed le'olam, le'olam vo'ed le'olam, le'olam vo'ed le'olam vo'ed. Ki heim chayenu, ve'orech yomeinu, uvahem negev, yoma v'layla, ki heim chayenu, ve'orech yomeinu, uvahem negev, yomam v'layla. V'avatecha al tosir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisroel.
We continue together with the Shema and the Ahavta as we prepare for these two important prayers together. I invite you to know that we begin a new book of Torah tonight. This Shabbat opens with the book of Leviticus, the Torah portion Vayikra, which means "and he called," meaning referring to God, and God called Moses. So preparing for the Shema, I invite you to consider how and when you might remember being called to some sort of service, when you got a message. I mean, it doesn't seem like it came from within you. It feels almost that it was given to you, that someone put it in the mailbox of your imagination, as it were, delivered it to you, how would you respond to Vayikra?
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Vaed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol lebavcha u'v'chol nafshecha Uvechol me'odecha, vehayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, beshivtecha bebeitecha, uvelechtecha v'derech, ubeshachbecha uvekumecha, Ukshartam le'odal yadecha, vehayu letotafod beinenecha, ugetavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha.
We continue together with the Micha Mocha, reminding us, as in every Shabbat, of the experience of the Exodus, the thrill of being able to succeed to life, to escape slavery, to reach the other side of the sea, to be able to sing and chant and dance after such an amazing success. Micha Mocha. Thank you, Jerry.
Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osefele, Norah tehilot osefele, Malchut chara uvanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osefele, Norah tehilot osefele, V'ne'emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov, Uge'alot mi'od chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osefele, Norah tehilot osefele.
We continue together with the Hashkivenu, the so-called evening prayer, the prayer of gratitude and appreciation for the peace we are blessed to enjoy through God's grace every night. We are so amazingly blessed. And I often mention that I don't watch the news, and I don't. But recently, occasionally, I have it on, and what I've noticed is its tenor has gone down a few notches, and somehow it might, lead us to believe that there's just more peace in the world. And somehow I suspect that that's not quite true, that people all over the world are still experiencing tremendous, tremendous distress. And we are so blessed to enjoy the peace that we do. May our singing of the Hashkivenu reflect this gratitude that we are so blessed to enjoy. Peace.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim. Ushmor Seitenu, Uvainu, Lekayim Shalom, Me'ata V'Adolam. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim. Ushmor Seitenu, Uvainu, Lekayim Shalom, Me'adam Yadolam. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Lehamidenu shomeinu lekayim.
We continue together with the Amidah, the central prayer of our evening service, and a wonderful opportunity to spend a few moments in earnest conversation with our Creator. As we prepare for the Amidah this evening, I invite you to think about Vayikra, but actually to think about it as it appears calligraphed in the Torah scroll. For those who are familiar, you will know that the word Vayikra, the Aleph at the end of the word, is considerably smaller than all of the other letters. In fact, it's half their size. And it's a scribal tradition. The origins are truly lost in history, but the meaning attached to it is really a wonderful teaching, because the word itself, Vayikra, means and he called, and he is God. And who did he call? Moses. So Vayikra, and God called Moses. And the Aleph is representative of Moses's humility, that he would be able to sit in the Aleph, in the silence, and just absorb, welcome, open himself up to all of God's teachings, because that is the tradition, at least certainly one of the traditions, that when God in these moments spoke, called to Moses, everything that would be revealed was revealed to Moses. So when we think of something and we think it's new, that it's an innovation, we're reminded by our very own tradition that there is no innovation, that in fact everything was revealed to Moses, and it will be revealed again to us or to future generations in its correct time. So, Vaikra, to bring us the lesson that when we can sit, meaning make ourselves a smaller, take on the character trait of humility, to sit in the silence, to not have to rebut or respond to a conversation, to a incident, to a claim, to an accusation, but can just sit in the silence, not offer anything to push back, and just let it also rest. Let it rest in the silence of the Aleph. As we continue together with the Amidah, may all our tensions rest and ease in the silence of the Aleph. Thank you, Jerry.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imaot Umevi Geula Levenei Veneihem Lema'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Bechayei Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Bechake El Chayim Bechesed Bechayei Meitim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berafei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'gevurot umi domelach melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emanata le'achayot meitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei HaMeitim.
Ana b'chof gdulat yamincha tatir tzerura kabel rinat amcha sadveinu tahareinu nora נגיבור דורשי ייחודך כבבת שמרם ברכם טהרם רחמם צדקתך תמיד גמלם חסין קדוש ברוב טובך נהל לדתך יחיד גאה פנה זוכרי קדושתך שבתנו קבל ושמות צדקתנו יודע ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We continue together with the Misha Berach. We pray that anyone challenged with an illness be healed completely in body and in spirit. Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yevorech et Acholim. The names on our healing list this week include Sydney Honig, Rose Franco Granowetter, Jesse Fish, Daniel Eric Marcus, Kimberly Pierce, Vicky Dopkin, James Basmajian, Susan Field, Sheila Nudis Cutler, A.C. Robertson, Suzanne Wilder, Patty Harris, David Wolmetz, Dan Friedman, Roberto Correa, Melissa Vacalis, Don Canal, Rick Greenberg, Lori Melman, Jack Melman, Herb Slomowitz. I also invite you to say the name of anyone you'd like to send some healing energies to. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion, for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and of spirit. And let us say, Amen.
V'sheberach avotenu, Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. So this Shabbat, we begin a new book of Torah, Leviticus, Vayikra. And for many, many good reasons. Many of us in our community and actually liberal Judaism in general have many, many issues with particular verses in Leviticus. And it really causes us pain. And it's not truly any simple thing. Some of these verses have been the basis of incredible violence against us. And it's been true over the centuries. So I am not trying to lessen or soften the true destruction that some of the verses in Leviticus have caused. At the same time, Leviticus has given us so much. I believe ultimately Leviticus attempts to give us a society that when its limits, boundaries, and structures are followed, we actually will create a society that will lead us to recreate what we originally, mythically, were created to live in, and that's in the Garden of Eden. And how does Leviticus do that? Well, looking at it again as a unit, Leviticus is very concerned with protecting people who historically have had no protection. Women, children, widows, the ill, the stranger, the person who exhibits bizarre behavior. Everyone is included. The slave. The slaves have special protections. In fact, the laws about Israelite female slaves are such that, when followed, would result in her ultimate freedom. That's how interested Leviticus is ultimately in freeing people from restrictions, from power over others, from having some kind of resource, when someone who literally has the might, literally has the power to affect their agency. And what else does Leviticus try to convince us? Well, it tries to convince us that God is truly the master and commander, and we are all God's followers. But unfortunately, somehow the message got mistranslated. We know how that can happen, but it got mistranslated to the point where we all believe that somehow, somewhere, we can be somebody's master and commander. And truly, our society is really built on the idea that might makes right. We see it everywhere. We see it in our households. We see it in our families. We see it in business. We see it in everywhere. We see it in how customers treat service people. We see it in the laws that are passed. We see it in the fight for safety glass in our automobile windshield, which is truly no different from the fight for $15 an hour. Why is this? Because the concept of master and commander is based on the idea that I can do a certain level of damage and harm against you until the law steps in. And it's really true. We see it in how much rat pieces can be in bags of grain. We see it in how much poison can be in our food structure. We see it in how landlords can treat tenants, or even how tenants can treat landlords. Really, the idea of master and commander is one that says, I am entitled to treat you any way I feel like it, and it's going to be bad, you can bet on it, until the law steps in. So why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because if we understand that we can treat people badly, and people certainly understand that they can be treated badly, then we're all going to negotiate and jockey for being in the best position to not be treated badly. And once you understand how to motivate people into being a master and commander over somebody, so at least there's somebody that they can push around, well then you've got them in your hand. And that's the kind of attitude we are encouraging in the society we've created. And as such, it creates a place that's safe for sociopaths. Again, once you understand that the world is based on the idea of master and commander, and we all want to be in charge of somebody, when you understand how to do that, you can make people move any which way you want. Again, sociopath. Where does this come up? Well, no surprise, it comes up in politics. Remember when President Johnson, may he rest in peace, once said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. And that's how it is. We're teaching people it's better to be manipulative. It's better to push people around. It's better somehow to make it harder for people to succeed in the world. We make it harder to be safe in the world. Somehow that's considered okay behavior. I believe Leviticus comes to tell us that it's not. Why? Because we are not called to be as best or as rich or as master and commanderish as we can. We are called to be holy. Why? Because God is holy. And what does that mean? It means for us to behave as though we knew how God would act. So as God is compassionate, we are compassionate. As God is merciful, we are merciful. As God is forgiving, we are forgiving. You'll notice in our prayers, not a single one says, oh, please God, judge me more harshly. Nope, that's not what's there. Every single one, please God, judge me through the lens of mercy. Judge me through the lens of grace. This is the kind of world that I believe ultimately Leviticus wants us to aim for. It's less about the individual laws or verses in Leviticus than it is with the idea that there is such a thing as a fair and just society. And I believe that just doing that is a wonderful end in itself, but actually there's more. Wait, what, Rabbi? There's more? Why is this so important? Yes, it is important in itself to understand that we are partners in a covenant that calls us to be holy as God is holy. But I believe there's actually something on the horizon that it lends a particular urgency for us to adopt that attitude. And frankly, my friends, there hasn't been too much talk about it, but it's climate change. I truly believe in 100 years that climate change will cause the remapping of our land masses, that the contours of the very land we stand on will be changed, that there will be enormous movements of people. And unless we learn how to handle emergencies and crises with mercy, grace, intelligence, and planning, the future is not going to be very pretty. And if you're curious what it might look like, I invite you to take a look at the film Tank Girl. It's actually one of my favorites. So what's the point? Well, again, the name of our new book and of our Torah portion this Shabbat is Vayikra, and he called. Now the he in this sentence is God, and the who that God called was Moses. But truly, I invite you to consider yourself called. Consider yourself called to learn all the laws, the ways, the statutes, the orders of how to create a world that God would be proud to dwell in. Remember, we're also building the Mishkan. We're carrying it through the desert. It's a place where holiness dwells. It's a place we've built so that God can dwell there. This is what I believe, again, Leviticus wants us to understand, that how the world looks is the way that we've built it. If it looks a way that we're unhappy with today, then what we are commanded to do, we are urged, we are invited, we are pushed, we are really nudged to do, is to create a better world. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the closing prayers of our evening service and the Aleinu. Thank you, Harley.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet kedula liotzev reshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kohem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notesh shamayim b'yosei oretz Umoshav yikarom bashamayim mima'al ushchinatu so begohe maromim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu efesulato Kakotu betorato ve'adata hayam v'hashevota elavovacha ki Adonai hu Elohim bashamayim mima'al v'al haaretz mitachat einod.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved, each of us, for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
Kakatuv b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam voed, v'nemar, v'hoya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
We continue together with a prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and in spirit. Amen. We continue together with the Mourner's Kaddish. The most recent deaths in our community include Cecilia Greenberg, remembered by Howard Chaykin and Daniel Smits; Barbara Ray Baker, remembered by Howard Chaykin and Daniel Smits; Karen Lee Squire, remembered by Don Squire; Robert Lewis, remembered by James Basmagian; Jack Meslish, remembered by Harley Greene; Etta Gale Schatz, remembered by Harley Greene; Ron Lampert, remembered by Nina Lampert; Daniel Wetzler, remembered by Arnell Booker; Stephen Hoffman, remembered by Nina Lampert; Saul Silverman, remembered by Marilyn Silverman; Vicki Weeks, remembered by Arnell Booker; Julia Marie Shaver, remembered by Harley Greene; Cy Robin, remembered by Rabbi Noah Kitty; Barry Shiner, remembered by Rabbi Noah Kitty. Our yahrzeit list includes Sylvia D'Amato, Jenny Rubin, Fanny Greenberg, remembered by Harley Greene; Leonard Shatkin, remembered by Sidney Honig and Timothy Cuny; Grover Daniel Butterford; Leonard Allen Lampert, remembered by Wayne Lampert and Rick Bustamante; Beatrice Shaw, remembered by Stephen Shaw; Larry Friedlander, Harry Karsh; Lily Hoffman, remembered by Nina Lampert. We continue with the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yalama tivarach irute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'le'omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
Announcements. Well, it's too late to order meals. However, I hope everyone plans to join us for our annual second night Seder happening on Saturday, March 28th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. All members will be sent the Zoom link, and we really look forward to seeing all of you there. We continue with our concluding song, Adon Olam. Thank you, Jerry.
Adon Adon Olam asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa, b'chetzo kol azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh, ve'hu yihye b'tifara, ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni, lehamshilo leachmira, b'li reshit, b'li tachlit, ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra, ve'hu eli v'chai gawali, ve'tzur chevli b'yetzara, ve'hu nisi umanos li, ve'nakosi b'yom ekra, ve'yado avkid ruchi, ve'eti shani ha'ira, ve'imruchi kevi'ati, Adonai li velo ira. Adon olam asher malach. B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Leit nasa b'cherefto kol. Hazai melech shemo nikra. Good Shabbos, everyone.
We conclude our service with a community blessing. May we all breathe in and just feel the warmth and the power and the strength, all the prayers and blessing we shared together this evening, and release them back to each other. May everyone enjoy such peace, such strength. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Amen, the Amen, and good Shabbos.
Feel like the world don't love you, they only wanna push you away. Some days people don't see you, you feel like you're in the way. Today you feel as everyone hates, pointing their finger looking at your mistakes. You do good, but they want great. No matter what you give, they still wanna take. Give your love and they throw it back. You give your heart, they go on attack. When there's nothing left for you, only thing that you can do, say, today live like you wanna. Let yesterday burn and throw it in a fire, in a fire.